Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the celebration event for Mother Tongue Other Tongue 2021. I'm Professor Sharon Handley, Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the Faculty of Arts and Humanities, and this is the 9th year of this competition. In 2020, we were delighted to be awarded the Queen's Anniversary Prize for this very special project. We had hoped to be welcoming you to our new Manchester Poetry Library here at Manchester Met to celebrate the achievement of this year's winners. But since we cannot do that, we decided to record our celebration so that you can all join in. I hope that many of you will be watching this in your schools and will applaud the achievements not just of the pupils who won their categories, but of all the young people who wrote and submitted their poetry. You, your parents who support you, and the wonderful teachers who send in your entries make this competition so very special. Mother Tongue Other Tongue is a national multilingual poetry competition that has already inspired over 30,000 pupils to celebrate cultural diversity and the many languages currently spoken and taught in schools across the UK. Pupils from primary and secondary schools aged from 8 to 18 entered the competition this year. The project is administered from within the Faculty of Arts and Humanities, and this year we had a record number of entries and a record number of participating schools. Both poet Imtiaz Dhaka and the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner, Malala Yousafzai, officially endorsed this competition. Mother Tongue Other Tongue was devised way back in 2012 by myself and colleagues within the faculty, including the then Poet Laureate and Creative Director of Manchester Writing School and Professor of Contemporary Poetry at the University, Dame Caroline Duffy. Next year is our 10th anniversary, so it seemed fitting to invite Caroline to say a few words about the project and to introduce our speakers. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Caroline and wish you all the best. I hope you enjoy your afternoon and I hope you continue to engage with learning languages. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.
Thank you, Sharon. It's wonderful to hear that over 30,000 young poets have been celebrating their languages and cultures. Amazing. And I'm immensely proud of what Mother Tongue Other Tongue has achieved since the first germ of the idea and the pilot in 2012. It's gone from strength to strength, and I can't wait to see what our 10th anniversary year will bring. I think more than ever, the past year, we've learned the importance of creative expression as a way to make sense of what's been a particularly difficult period for young people. And we can see from this year's entries that Mother Tongue Other Tongue has provided space and incentive for our young people to do just this. So thank you for your resilience this year and for sharing your poetry with us. I can't wait to hear some of the winning entries, which I know are going to be shared shortly. And from what I've already seen, I know that our judges have had a very difficult task, but a hugely pleasurable one. And as you've heard, next year is the 10th anniversary of Mother Tongue Other Tongue, and we hope for an even better year, if that's possible. Next year, it would have been wonderful for us to welcome you to the new Manchester Poetry Library, and for you to share your work with each other, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. The team here at Manchester Met have been working already on expanding our bank of teaching resources ready for next year's competition. Poets Valerie Bloom and Bogdan Piaszewski and Uzma Malik from the Department of English here all ran wonderful online workshops this year, and these have been recorded to share with all schools wishing to take part in next year's competition. Uzma Malik teaches creative writing here at Manchester Met, and I'm delighted now to hand over to Uzma and ask her to present our Other Tongue winners.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm Dr. Asma Malik, and I work here at Manchester Metropolitan University with the Creative Writing Department. I'm a writer and a poet, and it's been an absolute delight to work with you all on this year's poetry competition. For our other tongue category, this year invited you to send in a poem in a language that you're learning, which is fascinating for me as somebody who's also learning a language. So I'm learning Farsi. Everyone who entered this competition are winners in our eyes, because to be creative and write poetry is in itself a challenge, but to be creative in a language that you're learning is another skill all by itself. So we've been incredibly impressed, like I said, with the range of the poems that we received. The entries this year came from French, Arabic, Spanish, Urdu, and German. Our judges are all Manchester Metropolitan students, and before we go on to the winners, let's hear from them.
I speak 4 languages, or you could say 5. I speak Standard Arabic, given that it's the official language in my country, Algeria. I also speak French, given the French colonization and its impact. Also speak Korean because I love Korean culture and history, so I decided to go for it. And I also speak English because that was basically my major, and here I also did some German at high school, but I forgot most of it, so.
You speak a standard Arabic along with the different dialects. I do speak also French, and this is because of the French colonization. I do speak English because it's my major. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing linguistics, and it's about the language of the English language. And also, I do speak Italian, and I'm a beginner. And this is mainly because I love the Italian culture and especially the food.
I speak English, obviously, because I'm born in the UK. I have parents from Pakistan and India, so I can speak Urdu, Hindi, and also Punjabi.
So I'm basically an Indian from Dubai. Therefore, I speak Hindi, which is the national language of my country, India. And I speak Sindhi. Sindhi is my mother tongue. It belongs to the place called Sindh, which is originally from Pakistan. But we migrated to India during partition. And so we're Indians, but I also speak Sindhi. So besides English, I speak Hindi and Sindhi. And because I'm from Dubai, I understand the basics of Arabic.
I speak Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian. I am Danish. I'm half Swedish, and I lived a little bit in Norway during my life, and English as well, obviously.
So I speak English, French, and German. German because it's my mother tongue, French because it's my second language, and English because it's my major. It's like the language of it, my educational language. So, and I speak German and French because I grew up on the German-French border. There was this poem from I think a year 12 or year 13 student, and it was about heartbreak, and it was really moving how she wrote about it and like what words she used, and it was very proficient, so she must be like really working hard to learn the language. It was just really moving to read it. That's what I liked the best.
I really enjoyed Zoe, who wrote about the Holocaust and had a very insightful and very sensitive commentary on the effect it's had on the world. And and it seemed very contextualized to the world we live in now. And she draws a lot of parallels to children suffering today, to the children suffering during the Holocaust. And the poem she wrote was, it was called Stars, and it's in German, and it's very beautiful as well.
Theo Holden, for me, I think he was the most original poem I read. I'm not sure if I'm biased because I really love art. And he was describing like how the artist is disconnected from his art. I mean, when you look at a painting and you would think like, is he sad? Is he happy? And I thought to myself, I mean, how can a kid actually think of this? I mean, there are even critiques. I mean, the critique can like say, one painting, say Van Gogh or something, but he as a kid, and he thought of that and how he depicted the artist and how he could be reflected in his art, and maybe he can be totally disconnected from his art. So yeah, that was my favorite poem.
Fatima Al-Azmari from the second category to 1011, right? She wrote a poem herself in her mother tongue Arabic. It was on judgment. The theme was judgment. The poem was titled "You Don't Know." So she wrote it based on her personal experience, and this was love at first read. The minute I read it, I was like, definitely.
One of the poem that I really like still remember up to this moment is a poem like talking about the boy who lost his mother. I remember that the poem was, I think, in year 8 or 9. I'm not quite sure, but I mean, although the poem was so simple, but it got a rhyme when it's written, and the thing that I like about it is that even though we lost like our beloved, we can still smile and we can like still be strong. So the boy like who wrote that poem, he must be like so strong to write such a thing. I really liked it, and I really like appreciate reading it, and it moved like my emotions in a way. And I think this is what art is about. It's when it crosses your heart.
I like the poem by a student. She was, I think, in year 10 or 11. Her name was Zainab Mazhari, and the poem was about, in Urdu, written about life. So the poem was called What is Life? And what I particularly liked about it was Zainab was discussing her family within that, and she was talking about Urdu literature, and she was relating to how close and passionate it is to her. And within that, she was discussing about societal pressures, how, people are forgetting their culture, they're not really embracing diversity. And it was just really well written. It kind of got me because it was quite relevant, whereas people, they start speaking English and they forget about their mother tongue. So I really liked that because it was quite relevant to the competition as well.
Hello, my name's Robert Nelson. I work as the school liaison assistant, and I've helped organise the competition for the last 4 years. It was incredible to read everyone's entries this year, and it was an incredibly high calibre. Thank you to everyone who took part. You should all feel proud of yourselves, and congratulations to all our winners. I also want to thank your teachers who submitted pictures and videos of you, as well as running the competition in schools. We couldn't run the competition without you, so thank you very much. And finally, I'd like to thank the judges for helping make the competition a success and working hard to judge all your entries. Thank you, and we hope to work with you again next year.
Thank you, judges. Now, without further ado, I would like to announce the winners in our other 10 category. There were 4 categories this year. If you're watching this in assembly, get ready to applaud your classmates as soon as we've announced the winners. Thea Holden, Year 5, wrote in French. Francesca Girolami, Year 5, wrote in Spanish. Bethany Reeve, Year 6, wrote in Spanish. Daniel Wakwima, Year 7, wrote in French. Stanley Smith, Year 8, wrote in French. Lydia Lutwich, Year 8, wrote in Spanish. Daniel Goharis, Year 8, in German. Ellie O'Hare, Year 9, wrote in French. Dara Salami, Year 9, wrote in French. Kira Limbert, Year 9, in Spanish. Laiba Malik, Year 10, wrote in Urdu. Emily Anderson, Year 10, wrote in French. Alina Iljaz, Year 10, wrote in German. Aliza Siddiq, Year 10, wrote in Spanish. Harrison Crook, Year 10, wrote in Spanish. Charlotte Gridland, Year 12, wrote in German. Millie Gordon, Year 12, wrote in French. Erin Campbell, Year 12, wrote in French. Keris Williams, Year 12, wrote in Spanish. Nima Hussein, Year 12, wrote in Spanish. Yang Hao, Year 13, wrote in French. Elizabeth Hamilton, Year 13, wrote in German. Reese Kirby, Year 13, wrote in Spanish. Well done to all our winners, and thank you to everyone who entered. Now let's hear some of these winning entries.
¿Te gusta el helado?
Sí me gusta, sí me gusta.
¿Te gusta el ajo?
Sí me gusta, sí me gusta.
¿Te gusta el helado de ajo?
No me gusta.
Wir trögen unser Machen, um unser Leben zu schützen. Und jeden Tag betetzen wir zum Himmel hinauf.
La suave tamborileo, goteando contra en las ventanas.
Lágrimas correr bajarse cada cristal. Luz parpadeo, reflejando un universo de estrellas.
Drum roll.
Je connaissais un grand chat noir qui adorait dormir sur un trottoir poussiéreux toute la journée. Comme un géant eut une bête paresseuse. Ses yeux se fermaient souvent. Sa tête lourde ne bougeait jamais du sol.
माँ तो एक ऐसी गज़ल है जो सुनने वाले के दिल में उतर जाती है। जी करती है, हाँ करती है, ऐसे सिर्फ माँ करती है। ये तो है माँ की ममता, दुनिया तो कहाँ करेगी। माँ का हक अदा करते रहो जब तक इसका छुटाए हक अदा ना हो जाए।
Ich hasse dich nicht. Ich denke an dich, wenn ich mich schwachhand und traurig fühle. Ich träume von dir in meinen Albträumen, wenn du dich bei mir über deine Mutti beschweren würdest.
Tomaten auf den Augen vor der Natur zu haben, ist nur schade. Es ist einfach schön und jeder Moment, den man in der Natur verbringt, sollte geschätzt werden.
Con caracteres poderosos en particular el fauno, y los que no están como Pepe el Romano. Vidal es el malvado, un capitán del dictador, y Granada con bastón protege su honor.
Let's have a huge round of applause for all our winners and everybody who entered this competition.
That was wonderful. Thank you to everyone who entered and to everyone who sent in those fabulous videos. And thank you, Uzma, for announcing our other tongue winners. Now to our mother tongue category. And I'm delighted to introduce another of the poets who's delivered a superb workshop to add to our teaching resources for next year. Bogdan Piasecki is a Polish poet living in England. Bogdan is a regular visiting lecturer in creative writing at the University of Birmingham, on the board of the Poetry Translation Centre, and is a good friend to Manchester Writing School. I'd now like to invite Bogdan to announce the winners of this year's Mother Tongue categories.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm delighted to have been involved in this year's Mother Tongue Other Tongue project. So as you said, my name is Bogdan Piasecki. I'm a poet. I was born in Poland. I went to a French school. I live in England. I've always existed in between languages. I write in any language I can get my hands on. So this is a project that's particularly close to my heart. And I got to run a workshop with secondary pupils at Leavenshoom High School a few weeks ago. It was fantastic. We kind of explored how to write poems that can be both very specific and personal and still have universal appeal or have that appeal because of the specificity. And it was absolutely wonderful to hear some of those poems that the students were writing in a variety of languages and sharing them bravely over Zoom. I had a great time. One of the teachers also wrote a beautiful poem in Urdu and shared it with all of us. That was a special moment. And so before I announce the winners of the Mother Tongue category, I'd like you to hear from that teacher and then from another of the wonderful teachers who support Mother Tongue, Other Tongue every single year.
So hi, I'm Miss Batch, Simon Batch. I work at Manchester Academy. I've been running this competition in the school for many, many years now, for as long as I can remember, possibly maybe even for as long as the competition has been running. So one of the reasons I've been running the competition at Manchester Academy is because our school is so multicultural, and it's a fantastic way to for the students to show off their language skills, to show off how amazing they are, their background, their roots, and it just gives them that opportunity really to take part in something where their languages are recognised.
Poetry is a universal language, regardless the language itself, because the languages are like humans. If they are not talking to each other, they will die. So the different, each language opens obviously a door to a new culture, a new way to look at the poetry itself, the culture, the customs, the traditions. So it doesn't matter if it is in Polish, if it is in Urdu, if it is in Arabic, as long as we actually listening to that poetry, we understanding the poetry, that is the most important thing, because that is the multicultural, diverse society we are living in. Many languages, many cultures, and look the way we are living in a harmony.
Yeah, I have one written by one of my students. She's not happy to share her name, but do you want to share your name? Her name is Adian. Oh, wow. Lovely. Wonderful. She wrote a really nice poem in Arabic. I'll read it out because she's very shy. She doesn't want me to. I asked her to read it. She said no, but I'll read it on her behalf. Okay. أحيانا أحس بالغضب ولا أعرف ماذا أفعل. كل ما أريده هو عصير الموز وقطعة من الشوكولا. أريد أن أنام لمدة ساعتين على الأقل بدون ضجيج. أريد شخص يضحكني ويشغل بالي عن الغضب وعن الطاقة السلبية. It's really, really good.
So thank you so much for sharing this. And like before, could you tell us in a few sentences what the content?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she wrote some translation here. She says, sometimes I feel angry and I don't know what to do. All I want is a banana smoothie and a piece of chocolate. All I want is to sleep for at least 2 hours without a noise, or what's this? Yeah, a cracking noise. All I want is someone to make me laugh and to make me happy and take me away take me away from my anger and negative attitude.
Amazing.
The students were writing the poems, and I said I will give it a go as well, because as a teacher I feel we are the role models. If we can't produce the poetry in the short time which was given to us during that workshop, so how can we expect our students to engage in the process? So it gave me the I would say not only the satisfaction to myself, it was also opportunity for my student to see how competent their teacher is to write in that short period of time a wonderful, beautiful poem.
Hi, sir. I have written a poem and in Urdu, and I would like to read. I shared with my students. We tweaked a few bits, and then I'll try to translate it, but it is difficult for translation purpose. So I'm going to share it in Urdu. The title is Mohabbat Titli hai, love is a butterfly. मोहब्बत एक तितली है जो उड़ती है, मुस्कुराती है, महकती है, लहकती है, लहलहाती है, गुदगुदाती है, जिंदगी के हुस्न को दिखाती है। अगरचे उम्र है इसकी थोड़ी, मगर नक्श इसके, रंग इसके ताउम्र हमारे ज़हनों पर दमकते हैं, चमकते हैं, रमकते हैं, आंखों को लुभाते हैं, मंजर को दहकाते हैं, हमें चहचहाते हैं, खुश कर देते हैं। बनो तितली और छोड़ जाओ अनमिट नकुश।
So once again, thank you very much to all of the teachers who work with the Mother Tongue, Other Tongue project in their schools, and who are proud enough of their talented pupils to enter their work into our competition. It's invaluable, and the support is much appreciated. So time now for our Mother Tongue winners. Now, schools, get ready to applaud the winners. There are 4 categories. From year 3, Manha Buyan, who wrote a poem in Bengali. From year 7, Mridini Magesh with a poem in Tamil. From year 7, Rachel Joseph, who wrote a poem in Malayalam. And from year 7, Zoe Berner, who wrote in German. From year 10, Kanon Akhtar, who wrote a poem in Bengali. From year 10, Saida Zainab Mazari, who wrote a poem in Urdu. From year 11, Fatima Al-Shamari, who wrote a poem in Arabic. From year 11, Tirtha Desai, who wrote a poem in Marathi. From year 12, Gulmikhan Shamrais Begum, who wrote a poem in Urdu. From year 13, Yiyang Zhao, who wrote a poem in Chinese. All right, let's have a big round of applause for all our winners. Right, well done to all of our winners, and thank you to everyone who entered. And now to hear some of the poems that won our competition.
বৈচিত্র্য কি আমরা বুঝতে পারি যে আমরা সবাই এক অন্যের আমাদের জাতি বর্ণ বা পটভূমি যাই হোক না কেন আমাদের পার্শ্ব দুর্বলনা হয়ে থাকে
ഉറുത്തായി നാടാം നമുക്ക് അമ്മക്ക് വേണ്ടി ഉറുത്തായി നാടാം കൊച്ചു മക്കൾക്കു വേണ്ടി ഉറുത്തായി നാടാം 100 കിളികൾക്കു വേണ്ടി ഉറുത്തായി നാടാം
This poem was written to show how others communicate and care for each other as well. We all know when we settle ourselves in a new city, country or town, it takes pretty long to adjust. I don't know if I've been repeating the same thing over and over again, but in here I am describing my feelings. If I continue to say something, it actually shows how much I think about that stuff.
कहनी पे किसी शजर की तन्हा बुलबुल था कोई उदास बैठा कहता था रात सर पे आई उड़ने जुगले में दिन गुजारा पहुंचूं किस तरह आशियां तक हर चीज पे छा गया अंधेरा
அச்சமில்லை அச்சமென்பதில்லையே இச்சுக்கள் உலகலாம் எதிர்த்து நின்ற போதிலும் அச்சமில்லை அச்சமென்பதில்லையே துச்சமாக என்னை நம்மை தூர செய்த போதிலும் அச்சமில்லை அச்சமென்பதில்லையே பிச்சை வாங்கி உண்ணும் வாழ்க்கை பெற்றுவிட்ட போதிலும் அச்சமில்லை அச்சமென்பதில்லையே இச்சை கொண்டும் பொருள் எல்லாம் இழந்துவிட்ட போதிலும் அச்சமில்லை அச்சமென்பதில்லையே
That was fantastic. Thank you, Bogdan, for announcing our mother tongue winners. And thanks again to Uzma for announcing our other tongue winners. And thank you, especially, to all the teachers who have sent in entries for this year's competition. We absolutely couldn't do it without teachers. Thanks to our judges. They're all wonderful students from Manchester Metropolitan University, and they did an incredible job. But most of all, I'd like to thank all you young poets for your passion and your creativity and your generosity in sharing that with us. You're absolutely wonderful and you are the future. So here's to next year, and we hope we'll get to see you in person.
This year, Mother Tongue Other Tongue had submissions in 41 different languages, and they were Arabic, Balochi, Bengali, Cantonese, Creole, Dari, Egyptian Arabic, Farsi, Filipino, French, German, Gujarati, Hindi, Igbo, Italian, Japanese, Kurdish, Latvian, Lithuanian, Malayalam, Mandarin, Marathi, Mongolian, Polish, Portuguese, Punjabi, Romanian, Russian, Sanskrit, Serbian, Sinhalese, Somali, Spanish, Swahili, Tagalog, Tamil, Telugu, Turkish, Urdu, Welsh, and Yoruba.